That was the chair, everybody. Very good morning to everybody. Yeah, I promise it was the chair. Happy Sunday to you, and let's talk weather. Let's get right to it. Fog this morning again. Same situation we had yesterday morning. The difference is that the dense fog advisory on Saturday was extended until 11 a.m. It took a long time to burn the fog off for areas that had it. If you don't have fog, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You're just like, it's beautiful and sunny outside, and that's good. But areas east, once again, areas like in DeKalb County especially, up towards Franklin County in Tennessee, even Jackson County earlier this morning. But the fog is burning off a little faster this morning than it did yesterday. So therefore, you should get into sunshine even a little bit quicker today. If those of you waking up have sunshine already, you're good to go. Temperatures in the 60s. Talked to Claudia this morning. She was on air. She's like, I want it to be a little cooler, Jeff. She said, it's still a little warm for me. Also, too, it was a little humid yesterday, too. The humidity is not completely out. This is not crisp fall-like, grab a sweatshirt kind of weather during the day. It's still a little humid. And you can tell when you wake up in the morning, if you don't have fog, you have like a wet car, or your cushions on your back patio are soaked, and it didn't rain, right? That's because the dew point and the temperature are real close at night. It's not that really dry air. I mean, it's still a good weather pattern, but it's just not quite crisp. But we'll get there eventually. 60s waking up this morning, a few 50s mixed in. We go 80s today. 86 might be a little high, but like 83, 84 looks good to me. A lot of sunshine, beautiful day. Yesterday, I called for a few spot showers along the Alabama-Georgia state line. And if you live in that area, there were a few spotty showers yesterday, but most areas stayed dry yesterday and stay dry again today. Mostly clear, pleasant tonight. Any fog that develops will be extremely localized and low 60s, and the next 3 days are pretty quiet. I did put a spot shower in for Monday. We can probably take that Wednesday rain out, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Temperatures 80s by day, 60s at night, and a beautiful stretch of weather to close out the month of September and begin the month of October across the Tennessee Valley. The weather continues to cooperate and look good. After much needed rain last week, it's a nice stretch of sunshine. Hurricane Umberto. What a strong hurricane. Category 4 now. Was a Category 5 last night. And will make a move north and west and eventually come very close to the island of Bermuda sometime early in the week. And will probably have an impact on the island of Bermuda before taking off in the North Atlantic. And the reason why I talk about the tropics is because it ties into the Tennessee Valley forecast. Why is that? Well, you see that little 9 there? That's Tropical Depression 9 in the Bahamas. That too is going to lift north and strengthen and will likely, it's on the cusp of being a tropical named storm. It would be Imelda with an I. It's not Imelda, which I heard somebody say on social media. It's Imelda. And the reason why I talk about the tropics is forecast models yesterday had the strengthening of tropical, well, at the time it was PTC, a potential tropical cycle, and now it's actually a tropical depression. But it had the spaghetti plot kind of all over the place. The models weren't really in agreement. And a lot of times somebody will see, we call them spaghetti plots when you see all those lines there, right? And somebody will write on Facebook and they'll be like, they don't know what they're talking about. Look at all these lines everywhere. They're just guessing. All the spaghetti plot is essentially a whole bunch of forecast models that give us a basic idea of where the track would be, okay? When it's like 5-6 days out, it's all over the place because the model's still kind of working on it. It's got to fine tune it. So what happened was last night, the forecast models got all together, and look at that track. I mean, I'll pull it up so you can see it. It's like really, really, really defined, a big, hard right turn. Why is that important? Why do I bring it up for the Tennessee Valley? Because yesterday, there were a few outliers that had a left turn, essentially, into the Georgia, Carolina area, South Carolina, and brought some rain to our area Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Not heavy stuff, but still some showers. That looks like that is completely off the table now. With the hard right turn, it goes out to sea, and therefore, that's why I said we could probably take that 20% out for Wednesday. And if you watch the weather closely, I had 20% in for Thursday and Friday yesterday, and I took that out as well. So that hard right turn not only helps us out here in the Tennessee Valley, but could help out coastal Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina with the heaviest of rain just offshore and impacts of like storm surge and maybe some rough surf. There is tropical storm watch issued from Flagler Beach down to Juniper in Florida last I checked. And then what I think people might start talking about, it's happened before. It's called the Fujiwara effect, when you get two tropical systems that are like spinning around like tops. They're very close to each other, and they can kind of start to do this, and they do weird things, and sometimes it can spin hurricanes and tropical storms in weird directions. And usually the stronger tropical system kind of absorbs the weaker one. That can happen too. So I think the reason why that hard right turn with the forecast models has come into play is because what will likely be Imelda wants to tag along Umberto, the stronger one, and follow it all the way into the North Atlantic. It may even pick up a little speed to catch up to it. I don't know how close. Usually they got to come within about 800, 900 miles of each other to have that effect take place, and they're going to be really close to that. But something that I think people will be talking about in the next couple of days. And also, too, more named systems in the tropics. A very quiet tropical season, and we've had Gabrielle, Umberto, and what will likely be Imelda all here very soon, and they all just keep popping. Nothing in the Gulf right now. Very quiet. Amber asked me, she goes, I'm going on a cruise in the Gulf 7 to 10 days out, I think. And she said, do I have to worry about anything? And I said, right now, no. But in the Gulf, homegrown stuff can happen like that. Hurricane Michael is a great example of that. Back in Florida. I don't remember the year, 17, 18. But we'll keep an eye on the tropics. Obviously, no immediate impacts for our area. But interesting setup in the tropics right now. And if that track comes to fruition, really does spare Florida and the Carolinas in terms of how much rain could happen. Still some localized 5-6 inch amounts on the coast of South Carolina, North Carolina, but that's pales in comparison of how much rain could fall if it had made landfall or lift north. And if that track obviously changes back to the west, it's going to make national news, and we'll be covering it here too. So that will likely happen. Hi, Mike. Good to see you on. Thank you so much for stopping by. Mima Benitez is on. Good morning to you. Thank you for saying hi. Weather Extra. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Good to see you on. And Candy, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for paying attention. I talked about Weather Extra today. I actually kind of plugged it during the morning show. I said, hey, we're on between 8:15 and 8:30. And I feel like we should be plugging these a little bit more. But nonetheless, good to see a few of you on, and it's awesome. Pretty straightforward forecast for us. While I had so much to talk about with the tropics and the impacts of where Umberto and also Tropical Depression 9 are going, our weather stays quiet. Again, I could probably take that 20% out for Wednesday, and I should have done that this morning. I just can't. I was just half asleep. I should have just taken it out. Spot shower on Monday, though. I did keep that at 10%. I can say, if it showers, I can say, I told you so. Temperatures 80s through Wednesday, and then a little cooler for Thursday and Friday. Some 70s and some 50s at night. And that will set us up into a beautiful weekend, next weekend. When you look at the big picture, if all the tropical systems play the way they're supposed to and behave, our next system wouldn't come until the following week, middle of the week, and it looks like some rain coming up from the south with a front to the west. So 10th day of the 10-day forecast. Take it for what it's worth. There could be some rain, but the pattern does look like it shifts with a pretty strong cold front. That would be, so where am I at date-wise? I got to look at my calendar, y'all. Hang on a second. So October, that's about October 7th. Yeah, it makes sense. So there looks like in the long-term forecast model, sometime around the 5th or 6th, pretty strong cold front dips down from the Rockies and impacts Texas. And then it moves east. I don't know about severe weather or anything like that, but it does look like a game changer in temperature. Could be some really chilly air once we get past that 10-day forecast. But nonetheless, if it does come to fruition and all of it just times out the way it's supposed to, that front would be here like Tuesday night, spark some showers and storms, and then the drop in temperature would be beyond our 10-day forecast there. So it'd be like the following Wednesday and Thursday. That could see some even cooler air than those 70s you see on Thursday, Friday. Just big picture, looking at big things. I mean, anything that's like 8, 9, 10 days out can always have timing issues and stuff, but that's the overall gist of the forecast for the next 10 days for you. Bill Beck. How you doing, my friend? I'm going to talk rainfall. When I talk rainfall, I think of you. Stan, what's up? Good morning. How are you? I'm fantastic. You singing today, my friend? I hope all's well. Car running good? Truck running good? Everything all right? Checking on you. Carolyn says, thank you for the update from Albertville, Alabama. Alabama. Have a great day. Carolyn, good to see you on. Thank you. We have a lot of people who watch us from Albertville. We have two, like essentially I call them weather watchers. Tegan and Haley. Carolyn lives there too. Yeah, actually we have a few. It's actually pretty cool. Anyway, thank you for joining. Happy to have you on. 2 Weather Extra. Appreciate it. But speaking of rainfall, I was checking out the numbers for the month of September. Anytime we get to the end of the month, I always see where we're at and gauge the rainfall. And I check temperatures out and stuff like that. Very deceiving numbers sometimes, but ended up being a wet month in Northwest Alabama at the airport. Now, many of you watch me and they say, come to my Facebook page and say, Jeff, how can you say Northwest Alabama at the airport had so much rainfall? I'm in Florence. I didn't have anything. Well, it can happen that way. The Northwest Alabama Regional Airport is not in Florence. So sometimes that little difference in distance can make a big difference in rainfall. We all had pretty good rain this month. Most of it came last week, but Northwest Alabama Regional Airport's had almost 6 inches of rain this month. It's way above average. And then in Huntsville, it's been like at the airport, it's been like 2.5, and it's slightly below average. But at my house, I've had over 4.5 inches of rainfall in Northwest Huntsville, and I am above average. Decatur at Pryor Field, hardly anything, like under 2 inches of rain. So location, location, location. Much like real estate, same thing with weather. It's all about where you're at. But overall, last week, most of us had rain, and some areas had exceedingly high numbers, like over 7, 8 inches of rain, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the drought monitor plays out when it comes out Thursday. It's a graphic, gives us a basic idea of where we're at, the threshold of rainfall for the area. And that rainfall last week should be factored in for the next update. I would think there's going to be some improvement. And then with this dry forecast, the following week, it may actually go back to being more colors. But we are in our dry season for sure. September and October doesn't usually spit out a lot of rain. For sure. I'm preaching at a new church. My schedule has changed. Can't always catch you live. Bill Beck, that's okay. Life happens. I get it, bro. It's all right. I get it. I get it. Life gets busy. I know. I understand. And that's okay. As long as you come on every once in a while and say hi, it's all good. And if you can't make it to Weather Live, just hit me up on my Facebook page and say hi there too. Make sure that you're doing okay. So it's all right. But I hope the new church goes well for you. It sounds exciting. You seem excited when you're telling me about it, so that's good. Carolyn says, roll, Tide, roll. I watched a lot of college football yesterday. Alabama A&M played a tough game against Bethune-Cookman, lost 41-34. Alabama held on, big win against Georgia. They own Georgia right now. And Auburn, gosh, such a good defensive game against Texas A&M. Just had trouble moving the ball a bit. Almost got an interception gift at the end of the game and turned into a touchdown. Made it real close. Auburn is just like this close to taking that next step. But good football all around. I watched college football all day. I almost slept through my alarm this morning because I was up so late watching football. But some good games. And now NFL today, not college anymore, football, NFL today. And my hopeless Titans on the road against Texans. Both teams are 0-3. Somebody has to win, you would think, unless they tie, which they probably will. But they're calling it the Toilet Bowl, the Texans-Titans Toilet Bowl in Houston today at noon. That's what happens when you have two teams that are 0-3 against each other playing. Weather for much of the U.S. for football looks pretty good. If the Carolina Panthers are at home, they might have a little rain. If the Denver Broncos are playing at home, and I don't know if they are, they might have a little rain. That's about it. Much of the U.S. is enjoying some pretty awesome weather. Unless you're like off the coast of Florida, you're dealing with a little rain and you're watching over your shoulder to see where Imelda goes. Well, what will be Imelda, I should say. Now, there was some interesting football games yesterday for sure. Anchor down. Vandy, 5-0, 4-0. I played Utah State, but put 55 up on them. They were still throwing the ball and they were up by 20. Probably had just like throwing like 90-yard passes. Well, as long 50-yard passes. He did get picked. He had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he got picked off, and they kept throwing the ball by 20. Karma, right? All right. I'm going to bust a move, get going. The time is now 8:33 a.m. I hope you have a fantastic day. Enjoy the sunshine. The very personable Jada Russell will be in tonight. She'll have the very latest on the updates of the forecast, and she might even take that 20% out and say, Jeff, why didn't you do that this morning? Or she may keep it. It's all good. Whatever she wants to do is all fine. Eric Burke will be back here tomorrow morning. We have a pretty normal schedule this week. So I think Eric's Monday, and then Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis is in Monday night. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on the tropics, keeping updates there. And not just if the storm's going to move west and impact the Tennessee Valley. Obviously, we would be all over that. But a lot of you that we talk to here in the Tennessee Valley have friends or family that live in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. And it's something that we talk about on air. And I know some people might get frustrated and say, well, why are you talking about the weather in Florida? What does that have to do with me? Well, one, it's probably going to make national news. And usually when there's a hurricane or tropical storm, everybody wants to talk about it. It's interesting to people. And secondly is a lot of you have friends or family and you've reached out and said, hey, what's going on? Like, does my family in Fort Lauderdale have to worry about it? And I'm sure they're getting updates from locals, local meteorologists, but sometimes you want to hear what they have to say and what we are thinking here about what's going on there, which is, not unheard of. I mean, we get a lot of, anytime there's like severe weather in Tuscaloosa, and college is in session, Brad's messages blow up. Like, what's going on down in Tuscaloosa? So we try to keep you informed, and sometimes the weather might not be impacting us directly, but it's still an impact like nationally where you want to talk about it and people are talking about it, But anyway, pretty cool stuff. I got to go. Everybody have a fantastic day and enjoy your Sunday and enjoy all that sunshine today. And happy last weekend of September. Happy first weekend of fall.